Hi, everybody. This is David Nevins for Citybiz List, and welcome to our program today. Our guest today is Timothy Regan. Tim is the president and CEO of the Whiting Turner Contracting Company, which everybody in Baltimore knows, most people around the country even know, as one of the nation's largest and premier construction and engineering firms. Tim, you're the CEO, and welcome to our program today.
Thanks, David. It's great to be here.
So, Tim, this is not an interview about Whiting Turner. I know you don't really do too many interviews about Whiting Turner. This is about something you did in recent days, and it's been reasonably well covered in the media and so forth, but you bought the formerly shuttered Target store in Mondawmin Mall, and in the middle of West Baltimore, here in the city of Baltimore. Why did you do that?
My wife asked me that same question. No, we've been looking at that for a couple of years, David. So if I could go back. And just point out the fact that Calvin Butler, of course, is Chief Operating Officer of Exelon Utilities and longtime friend of mine. And, he's been in Baltimore for many years now and been a fixture in town. So he and I founded something called Touchpoint Baltimore over in the Mondawmin neighborhood about 6 years ago. And so we've been there and working with the communities for some time. A couple of years later, Target left the facility there, and I have been thinking ever since, boy, wouldn't it be great to pick up that property and really turn it toward the community and do something to create a spark, a catalyst to really start a renaissance in Mondawmin.
Well, I know. I know that you're about to do that, Tim, and so tell us a little bit. This new, what was the Target store, is now going to be a community development center. It's going to be a lot of different things, and I know you have a vision for it, but I also know that your vision is a shared one with the community. That you've been for many years. Walking through West Baltimore, getting to know the leaders of that community. So given what you've learned, given their current input, their future input, and your vision, what can we expect to see there?
Yeah, well, David, it is a shared vision. So as you might expect, after all these years, we're very close with the community. And, I could name off a bunch of community leaders that we've spent many years working with. And as you say, walk in the neighborhoods. And so we're just in the process now of meeting with them. Actually, we got a meeting here in a couple of days to really do some kind of blue sky thinking about, some of the things that could go in there. It is true what you say. We do have some ideas, and I'll mention a few, but we really want to hear from the community, what amenities or services might be helpful to lift up folks in the community. So some things that we know for sure, David, are we want to move our Touchpoint facility over into what was the Target building. And of course, it's large. It's 127,000 square feet. And it sits on 8.3 acres. So it's no small property that we have to work with here. So an enlarged Touchpoint facility, we're actually going to put a small Whiting Turner office, a midtown office there. We are going to have some sort of workforce readiness, workforce training facility going in there. And we're very excited about bringing in some retail businesses to face the outside and to kind of really enliven the area. Of course, that will help Mondawmin Mall in general. But it'll also give some entrepreneurial opportunities to local, specifically Black-owned businesses who are either in business now or maybe some that are starting up for the first time. And then just another idea that's floating around out there is the possibility of a catering event space and maybe a teaching kitchen where people can be ramped up into the restaurant and food service industries.
So, Tim, I know you and I know one another well. I will share with our viewers. This is really personal for you, and the fact of the matter is, it's not the. I know you're as humble as they get, but it's not the typical multi-billion-dollar corporate CEO who spends his own money. You did mention that Joanne needed to approve it, but who spends his own money and then the time and effort that it must have taken thus far and will take going forward to create kind of a one-of-a-kind community development center is really quite a significant, I guess it's a passion for you. I want you to use your own words, but it's, I know you give a lot of credit to Calvin Butler, and he, certainly co-founded the Touch Point with you. But I was at the announcement, as you know, about a week ago, and the love for you and what you're doing in the community, it was hard to measure. It was so significant. So, just talk a little bit about that and why was it so important for you to do this?
Well, again, thank you for your kind words, but I think the first thing to understand is that I'm of Baltimore City. I'm I'm an old man now, but I call myself a Baltimore City kid. So, it sounds cliche, but it's the city that built me. And I came from a blue collar background, big Irish Catholic family, 6 kids, and a lot of chaos and turmoil, and just had struggles like everybody else coming up. And we didn't have a lot. Dad was a truck driver. He struggled with alcoholism and sometimes wasn't working. I had a brother who ended up being a heroin addict and went to jail for a while. And so, I saw some things that left their mark on me. I saw mom put food stamps on the grocery belt. These are things that you don't forget, no matter where you end up in life. And so, I've always considered it part of my job to reach back and to help people who are in equally or way more stressful situations than I was ever in. And so it is kind of a passion for me. I balance it with my day job and, of course, which is very busy. But, David, to get kind of to the core of it, Calvin and I, have talked, I don't know, for hundreds of hours about these things over the years. And we just felt that, if you can get into, underserved communities, whether it's in Baltimore or Philadelphia or Milwaukee or Oakland, wherever, and find a way to break that isolation in these communities by creating a conduit of social capital to come into the neighborhood where people can work together, be comfortable working together, then you can start to break the cycle, where people young and old can suddenly be exposed to opportunities and resources that they literally have not been exposed to before. And so it's all about breaking that cycle of isolation that we've been plagued with. And, of course, we all know where it came from. We all study history and we know everything from Jim Crow to redlining to, all kinds of things that put us where we are today. And those are important to understand. But what's really important is to know that we have an obligation to change the future. We can't change the past. We can understand it and appreciate it, but we only have an obligation and ability to change the future. And that's what we're trying to do.
Incredibly well put, Tim. So I don't know, do you have when I interview you, if you don't mind, 5 years from now, what will it look like in that former Target store? What will be going on with Touch Point? And what do you hope to see? You're going to show me through in 5 years. What's the vision?
Okay. I hope that it will be hard to recognize the old structure that was the Target store. And by the way, let me say that the Target Corporation was very helpful in getting this transaction done with us. And they were very supportive of and impressed by our plan and our mission right from the start. But 5 years from now, I would love for, that structure to be almost unrecognizable because of what is around it. And, when you and me and some of our friends in the community are sitting around having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or something, and we look around, I want us to say, can you believe it all started with this building right over here? And, I just honestly believe that, the resources that are in that community, the human capital, of course, yes, the real estate, all kinds of opportunities, the schools, we've got Coppin State University, we've got Frederick Douglass High School, any number of elementary schools, Baltimore City Community College. It is rich with resources. I would just hope that it is so transformed that we're able to say, wow, I can't believe it all started with that box right over there.
I have no doubt that's what we'll be saying. So Tim, how soon are we going to be able to get started? I know you've given that some thought. You have the keys to the front door now. What's step one? I know you indicated you had an upcoming planning meeting. I'm sure you're going to have many more, but what's going to happen first?
Yeah, so we need to get the programming piece talked out with the community to make sure that they're comfortable that we're pursuing as many of the things that they're interested in as we can. Of course, we have to make it work viably. It has to be a venture that works. But I do believe that we can fit a lot of kind of novel uses in there. So yeah, we got to work through all that, but I'll be very impatient about this, David. I'm not a developer. This is not a cheap venture for me, and I'm not unlimitedly wealthy. So I need to make this work, and I need to get it going. And so I would think, within certainly inside of the first year, we're going to be well into building out some space, and it's going to be significant. We'll tear the whole front off of that thing and try to create a little bit of a retail corridor there. We're meeting with Brookfield Properties, which, by the way, is, of course, they're the owner of the mall. They also have been very supportive over these past months as we've pursued this. So we'll work with them, and but I think very quickly we can get into detailed design. And I'm sure within 12 to 14 months, we'll be well into construction and maybe even have a couple of the early uses opened up.
That'd be amazing. And when is your plan to go back and see your purchase and walk the neighborhood and have coffee? I know you want to give a shout out to Adeline, so I'm going to give you a chance.
I do. Of course I do. So many of the viewers have seen Adeline Hutchinson. She's the amazing president of the Greater Mondawmin Coordinating Council. And so Adeline has been great, well, for years, really. But through this process, as soon as we were able to tell her and the community leaders, which was only a few days before the public announcement, by the way, because the real estate deal was so complex and so difficult, we couldn't announce it until we got very close. But anyway, yeah, so with Adeline, you've got Jackie Caldwell, a number of the leaders of the individual neighborhoods. I know I'm probably not supposed to do this on video like this, but these are the neighborhoods that surround the Mondawmin Mall, being the oval piece in the middle. And so, those are about 8 neighborhoods that surround the mall area. So Jackie is the head of one, Selwyn Shields and Pastor Lance are the head of Liberty Square. And I could go on and on. Mr. Brooks is the head of Parkway. And there's a bunch of leaders that we're friendly and close with. And so, we are so excited. I'm going over there in 2 days for those meetings, but then we'll be back in the building probably early next week to do a little bit more detailed walk inside the building. And then, as I said, 8.3 acres is not insignificant. That's a lot of area around the building as well that we need to try to program and utilize. And I think our uses, the ultimate development will be significantly more dense than it is right now.
I have no doubt. Tim, I just, I don't speak on behalf of all the citizens of Baltimore, but I would say that the overwhelming majority are incredibly grateful for what you're doing and thankful. And any of us who can help along the way, you'll let us know. And by the way, so several thousand people, as I mentioned earlier, will indeed see this. How can they help? And do you want to give, how do they reach either Touchpoint or, someone who can, guide them and their human capital in terms of improving the West Baltimore community?
Yeah. So, I'd be happy to hear from anyone. Obviously, my colleagues in the business know how to reach me. Anybody else is welcome to come in through the Whiting-Turner website portal and just drop a note in there. We keep track of that every day, so it's not a problem there. And of course, that's at whiting-turner.com. So feel free to reach out. We're talking with people every day about how they can help out, and we're getting to the point now where I guess you might say my dream is coming true, and that is we're finding way more uses than we could ever fit in this particular development, which just tells me that there are more jobs to come. That people who are real developers, not pretend developers like me, will step up to the plate and say, "Wow, we've got to get over and get some of that energy in West Baltimore and help to lift up the community, but also create careers, create jobs, and economic activity." So, it's just, there's a lot of background noise out there. You know me well enough, David. I don't talk politics and I don't get into politics. And I just feel like people in general want to help make things better. And they care about other people and other communities, but they often struggle to find that entry point. And that's what we're trying to create, is that entry point. And I would encourage others to, of course, Touchpoint is a model that could be recreated throughout Baltimore, and we hope at some point it would be by other businesses. But it doesn't have to be Touchpoint. It could be any kind of initiative in a community that's too isolated, where businesses step in and say, "This is it. We're hunkering down here, and we're going to make this an entry point for social capital into this community."
Well, Tim, I mean, you put it so beautifully, and really, I know you're among the most humble people that I know, but really few among us, you put your money where your mouth is. That's number one, and but even more than the money is clearly your passion, your compassion, and your vision for making our wonderful city even more wonderful, and making it such that those who haven't always been the beneficiaries of the great life that Baltimore has to offer can now take advantage of many more opportunities. So really, on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, I just want to thank you, at least on behalf of myself, and I know our viewers feel the same way. This is one of those things I'm always reminded of, be careful what you wish for, you may get it. And you got it in this case. And I know that all of Baltimore wants to help you and see you be successful with this. No doubt you will be. Keep up the good job, by the way, in your day job, because you guys are building lots of buildings. Don't forget about that. And I really hope you'll invite me. I'm serious about this to join you on one of your West Baltimore walks. I think it would be a wonderful learning experience for anybody who has that opportunity. And I'd love to be among the first, but I just keep it up, Tim. You're doing so much, and I'm proud to have gotten to know you.
Well, thank you. You're embarrassing me here, but anyway, thank you, David. I appreciate that. I really do. I cannot forget about my day job. Our wonderful customers don't let me forget about my day job. God bless them.
I do think you thanked, I know you wanted to thank Calvin. You guys have mentored one another, and that's been great for Baltimore. And you wanted to thank the Target folks. I know how helpful they've been, Brookfield as well, and probably more than any, the community leaders of the Mondawmin area. So good luck to you, Tim. And we all want to see this be a grand slam home run, which I know it will.
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate you and the whole organization. And thank you for highlighting this. Thank you for getting this story out there. I think it is a powerful story, and I think it's a model that people can put some thought into.
No doubt about it. Thank you again. Our guest today has been Tim Regan. Tim is the president and CEO of the Whiting Turner Contracting Company, but instead of talking about Whiting Turner, he's been talking about a personal passion, and I hope you all enjoyed the program. Contact them if you'd like to learn more. This has been David Nevins for Citybiz List. Thank you so much for joining us.